Something big is happening in Asia. These 10 countries are cutting ties with the US, turning to China, Russia, and even building their own alliances. Trade deals? Cancelled. Military bases? Under review. Is this the end of US influence in Asia? Let's dive in. For decades, American influence shaped Asia. But now economic ambition and strategic realignment are driving these countries to forge new alliances. Tonight, we'll count down the top 10 Asian countries moving away from US influence and explore why. Let's begin with a nation rapidly emerging as a regional powerhouse. Indonesia, Southeast Asia's giant, is a nation of over 270 million people, spread across thousands of islands. Its capital, Jakarta, pulses with energy, reflecting the country's growing influence and ambition on the world stage. Today, Indonesia is asserting its independence more than ever, determined to shape its own destiny in a rapidly changing global landscape. China has become Indonesia's largest trading partner, and ambitious projects like the Jakarta-Bandung high-speed railway are powerful symbols of this new economic partnership. These collaborations are transforming Indonesia's infrastructure and connecting its cities like never before. But Indonesia's ambitions reach far beyond economic growth or ASEAN membership. The country is positioning itself as a leader in Southeast Asia, advocating for a more autonomous and united region that can stand on its own in global affairs. While military ties with the United States remain strong, Indonesia is careful not to rely solely on one partner for its security needs. Instead, it is actively diversifying its defense relationships, signing new deals with France, South Korea, and Turkey. This approach allows Indonesia to modernize its military while maintaining flexibility and independence. By acquiring a wide range of military hardware from different countries, Indonesia reduces its reliance on American equipment and avoids being tied to any single nation's political agenda. Indonesia values its long-standing relationship with the US, but it is determined to ensure that no foreign power dictates its foreign policy or national priorities. By strengthening economic ties with China and championing regional autonomy, Indonesia is charting a bold, independent course, one that reflects its unique identity and aspirations. Ultimately, Indonesia's future will be determined in Jakarta by its own people and leaders, not in Washington, Beijing, or any other foreign capital. Malaysia has long championed neutrality, but today, it's redefining its stance to avoid US-China rivalry. Skepticism of US foreign policy and a desire for a just world order push Malaysia to strengthen ASEAN and Islamic world ties. China is Malaysia's top trading partner, making it hard to align with anti-China US policies. Malaysia is building a strong, unified ASEAN to resist great power dominance. This region-first approach reduces US centrality in its strategy. Malaysia's distancing is about preserving autonomy, not hostility. It's a quiet assertion that its interests come first. Thailand, America's oldest Asian ally, now finds itself at a crossroads, carefully navigating the shifting tides between Washington and Beijing. For decades, Thailand has been a key partner for the United States in Southeast Asia. But the rise of China as a global powerhouse has changed the region's dynamics dramatically. China's economic pull is immense. Trade, investment, and infrastructure projects now tie the two nations closely together. Chinese companies are investing billions in Thai industries, and new railways and ports are transforming the country's landscape. This economic partnership is reshaping Thailand's future, making China an indispensable partner. Meanwhile, political instability in Thailand has strained its traditional ties with the US, creating uncertainty about the future of their alliance. China, on the other hand, offers support with fewer political strings attached, making it an attractive alternative for Thai leaders seeking stability and growth. Thailand is hedging its bets, continuing to participate in US-led military exercises like Cobra Gold, while simultaneously deepening security cooperation with China, including the purchase of Chinese military equipment and joint training programs. This dual-track approach signals that the once exclusive alliance with the US is evolving. Thailand is now pursuing a more flexible foreign policy, engaging both superpowers to maximize its own leverage and options. At the heart of this strategy is survival and the pursuit of national interests. Thai leaders are determined to keep their country stable, prosperous, and independent in a rapidly changing world. The relationship with the US has become more pragmatic and transactional, focused on mutual benefits, rather than shared values or long-term commitments. As Thailand strengthens ties with its Asian neighbors and deepens its partnership with China, it is redefining its role in the region, striving to maintain balance, autonomy, and prosperity amid great power competition. Vietnam's relationship with the U.S. is complex, once enemies, now partners against China's assertiveness. Yet Vietnam's foreign nose policy limits how close it can get to Washington. China is Vietnam's largest trading partner, so Hanoi must balance security ties with the U.S. and economic ties with Beijing. Vietnam diversifies partnerships with Japan, South Korea, India, and the EU to avoid over-reliance on any one power. The U.S.-Vietnam partnership is real, but carefully managed. Vietnam uses its American connection as one tool among many. Its goal, survival and prosperity in a complex region. The Philippines, a longtime U.S. ally, has seen its relationship with Washington swing dramatically in recent years, reflecting a complex and evolving geopolitical landscape. Once considered a steadfast partner in the region, the country now finds itself at the crossroads of competing global interests, navigating a delicate balance between old alliances and new opportunities. Nationalism and lingering resentment over decades of U.S. colonial rule have fueled a powerful desire among many Filipinos for a more independent foreign policy. This sentiment is visible in the streets, where protests and rallies call for the Philippines to chart its own course, free from the shadow of any foreign power. As a result, the nation's leaders have oscillated between courting China for economic gains, such as infrastructure investments and trade deals, and relying on the United States for security guarantees, especially in the face of regional tensions in the South China Sea. Domestic pressure is mounting, with citizens and activists demanding that Manila assert its own interests and priorities, rather than simply following Washington's lead or yielding to Beijing's influence. Chinese investment remains highly attractive, bringing much-needed development and jobs. Yet, at the same time, growing security concerns, especially over territorial disputes, are pushing the Philippines to strengthen its military ties with the U.S., creating a push and pull that shapes every major decision. The future of the U.S.-Philippines alliance is far from certain. It is being shaped not only by shifting political winds in Manila and Washington, but also by the powerful force of public opinion, which can sway policy in unexpected directions. Today, the Philippines is working to maximize benefits from all sides, seeking economic growth, security, and international respect by engaging with a diverse range of partners, both old and new. The era of automatic alignment with Washington is over. The Philippines is now forging its own path, navigating the shifting tides of global power with a renewed sense of agency and national pride. Pakistan's turbulent relationship with the U.S. is giving way to deeper ties with China and Russia. The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor cements a strategic partnership with Beijing. U.S. mistrust and aid suspensions have pushed Pakistan to seek new allies. The U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan reinforced perceptions of American unreliability. Pakistan now conducts joint military exercises with Russia and seeks Russian energy and arms. This Islamabad-Beijing-Moscow axis challenges U.S. influence in the region. Pakistan's future is tied to Eurasia's rising powers. Diplomatic ties with the U.S. remain, but the core relationship has faded. Bangladesh, once reliant on Western aid, is now a rising economic success story. Its booming economy allows it to pursue strategic autonomy. Friendship to all, malice toward none. While the U.S. remains important, Bangladesh courts investment from China, Japan, and others. Chinese and Japanese infrastructure projects are transforming the country. U.S. criticism over democracy and human rights pushes Bangladesh to value sovereignty and non-interference. Bangladesh is expanding its circle of friends, joining global initiatives that serve its interests. It's a confident middle power, ensuring its destiny isn't tied to Washington or any single capital. Myanmar's distancing from the U.S. is driven by political turmoil, not strategy. The 2021 military coup led to Western sanctions and isolation. Cut off from the West, Myanmar turned to China and Russia for support. China provides economic lifelines and blocks UN action, while Russia supplies military hardware. The junta depends on these patrons for survival and legitimacy. The pre-coup government sought better U.S. ties, but the coup ended that. Now, Myanmar is firmly outside the U.S. sphere, reliant on China and Russia. Cambodia's shift from U.S. influence to a close partnership with China is striking. China is Cambodia's top investor, trading partner, and aid provider, funding everything from airports to skyscrapers. Chinese support comes without demands for democratic reform, unlike Western aid. Military ties have deepened, with China modernizing Cambodia's Ream naval base. U.S. criticism of Cambodia's crackdown on opposition has led to sanctions and reduced aid. Cambodia now champions Chinese positions within ASEAN, often undermining regional consensus. For Cambodia's leaders, China offers development and stability. Distancing from the U.S. is a deliberate, strategic choice. Laos, once reliant on foreign aid, is now deeply dependent on China. The China-Laos Railway, a Belt and Road project, has transformed the country but left it heavily indebted to Beijing. Chinese companies dominate Laos's economy, crowding out other partners. The U.S. can't match China's investment scale, making Beijing Laos's only viable development partner. Laos's single-party government finds ideological comfort with China, which doesn't press on human rights. U.S. influence has waned. Laos is now firmly in China's orbit. It's a clear example of how China's economic power can reshape a nation's alliances. 10 countries, 10 stories, each showing Asia's recalibration away from the U.S. economic pragmatism, nationalism, and China's pull are driving this shift. The old U.S.-centered model is giving way to a multipolar network of relationships. America must adapt to this new reality or risk further decline in influence. What do you think is driving this trend? Let's continue the conversation.